Okay, so I'm starting with the shoulder evaluation right now. So we would start by taking a past and present history, and then you would check, and that's, OPQRST, sample, and then we would check for any swelling, discoloration, or deformity. We would check and make sure that, or see if her shoulders are, see if her shoulders are sitting equally, or if one is, lifted up. And then we would check to see if she's, rounded, or if she's sitting up straight, just, check her posture. And then we would, turn around please. We'd check her scapula and see if there's any kind of winging or anything. So right now you can see there's not. Around again. And then we would check for any atrophy, hypertrophy, and then we would also check and make sure that her arms are hanging equally. And then, can you sit down? Actually, I'm gonna turn the chair around for you. Palpate the front. Okay, so, ooh, my camera is doing funky things. Okay, so then we would palpate. So you're starting at the sternoclavicular joint. Oh, hang on, let me say. Sternoclavicular joint here, going out the clavicle to the acromioclavicular joint up here. I have the paper on my computer right here. Okay, so acromioclavicular joint right up here, and then you would check or palpate the humerus. So that's the big bone here coming up. Here's the head. The shaft is going to go down, and then this is the bicipital groove in here. And then you would, okay, we're gonna turn the chair around one more time. Let's go. Okay. Good? Yes. Okay. And then I would palpate the scapula. So we've got the acromion process up here. And then we've got the conocoid process. Oh, sorry, I squished you around too soon. That's gonna be like right kind of in here. And then we have got the, so then you're going to palpate this inferior, or let's start on the medial border. So medial border of the scapula is going to come down here to the inferior angle, and then, this is the lateral border. What am I talking about? Lateral border is going to come down here to the inferior angle, and then up the medial border to the medial angle right here, kind of where my hands are. And then the spine of the scapula is just coming right kind of across here. And the supraspinatus fossa is going to be kind of right in here. It's hard to palpate because the supraspinatus is like right in there, but it's going to be kind of right up here. And then, hang on, my computer just blanked. Okay. And then for the muscles, so we've got, like we said, the supraspinatus coming up here, and then the infraspinatus is going to be on the back, and then we've got the teres minor, so teres minor, and then we've got the subscapularis. Oh, you can't really palpate that one because it is on the anterior side of the scapula, but it's under there. And then we've got the deltoid. All right, we're gonna just spin around. Sorry, this is not the best setup here. Spin around. So we've got the anterior, actually I'll show this, anterior, turn a bit, middle, and then posterior deltoid here. And then we've got the pectoralis major, so I'm just gonna palpate the lateral edge, so that's gonna be like kind of right up through here, major and minor. And then we've got the trapezius, so we're gonna turn you around and sit you down again. So traps, you've got, so the upper, and then like the middle and the lower traps down here. And then there's the rhomboids, so we've got the major and then the minor. It's like on either side of the spine here, connecting to the scapula. And then you got the latissimus dorsi, so that's going to be the sheet muscle, kind of all, I guess, all through here. And then the biceps. Okay, I'm gonna turn. Sorry. So biceps, relax.
Don't get to show.
Coming up here all the way into the shoulder. Okay, sit down again. Actually, not quite. The coracobrachialis is next. That's a tiny little muscle that connects to the coracoid process up here and just comes right down here, and it helps with kind of like that motion. And then, okay, now you can actually sit down again for now. And then we've got the levator scapulae, which just kind of come up here, and they help elevate the scapula. And then we've got the serratus anterior, which is like the little finger muscles that come like through here, and look kind of like fingers. And then for it, we're gonna do some range of motion here. I'm gonna turn you 90 degrees. Okay. So first we have flexion, so arm all the way up, all the way up. All right, and then we have extension to 60 degrees, so all the way down, as far as you can go back, yes, to like about 60 degrees, and then abduction, so straight out, all the way up. Oh, this is gonna be just all the way to 180, and then adduction, so coming in front of you with a straight arm. No, sorry. It's gonna be relax, coming in front of you with a straight arm. And then we've got horizontal adduction. So that's gonna, so you're kind of already doing it. So regular adduction would just be, coming across like this, like this, and then horizontal adduction, you're gonna raise your arm to 90 and then bring it across. And then we have horizontal abduction, so it's gonna come out the other way. Yep, good. And then we've got scapular, relax your arm. Scapular elevation, so shrug your shoulders up. And then depression, so push them down. And then retraction, so kind of pull your shoulders. Yep, and protraction, other way. And then we have got, let's see. Internal rotation at 90 degrees. So you can, not of your shoulders, sorry. So you can put your arm, just one, out just in front of you, like that, and then bring it towards your body. So that's internal rotation, and then out to where you started. And then external rotation is going past that, good. And then you can also do it with your arm up like this. Either works. And then, so internal and external rotation are also called medial and lateral rotation. And then we've got, and then for these next actions, we would do them resistive range of motion. So, checking all the muscles. So for flexion, just like before, up. So you'd push and have them push against you. So that's activating the pectoralis major, anterior deltoid, and the biceps. And then extension. So I'd be pushing like this, and she'd be pushing against my hand. So that is the latissimus dorsi, the teres major, and then the posterior deltoids. And then for abduction, so that is going to be going out. So I would push against her, and she would push her arm up. So that is the supraspinatus and the middle deltoid here. You can relax. And then we have adduction. So again, that's pushing forward. In front of you, just like that. Oh. So she would push up against my hand here, or actually just push in towards my hand, really. And so then that is using the pectoralis major and the latissimus dorsi. And then for internal rotation, let's have you up at 90. Let's have you up at 90. So for internal rotation would be the pec major, subscapularis, latissimus dorsi, and teres major. So you're gonna, push down against my hand, good. And then for external rotation, it would be the opposite, so she'd be pushing her arm up, and that's working the infraspinatus and the teres minor, good. And then for horizontal adduction, so arm out straight in front of you. So I would come on this side and put resistance going out, and she would pull her arm towards me. And so that is working the anterior deltoid, the pectoralis major, and the coracobrachialis. And then, let me see, I'm just looking at the other sheet of paper. Okay, and then for horizontal abduction, abduction. So you would have your arm out again, and you'd be pressing out against my hand. Good. And so that is working the posterior deltoid, the latissimus dorsi, and the teres minor. And then for shoulder, abduction and upward rotation. So abduction and upward rotation. That would be the serratus anterior, and then for the scapular elevation, so it's just going straight up, that's going to be the trapezius and the levator scapulae. And then for the scapular adduction, so adduction, that is going to be the middle trapezius, so yeah, the middle traps, and then the rhomboid major. And then for scapular depression / adduction, it's going to be the lower traps here. And then for scapular adduction and downward rotation, it's going to be the rhomboids, both major and minor. And then we have for the motor function, so that next bit is all neurological, so you would compare bilaterally. So we've got C5 going to the deltoid, so deltoid, yep, and then C6 is the wrist extensor group, so up, and then C7 is the triceps, so tricep, behind you, so tricep, and then the wrist flexors, that's coming down, flexors, and then finger extensors, yep, and then for C8 it's going to be the finger flexors, so grabby muscles, and then for T1 it is finger AB and adduction. So abdomen. Yeah, nice. And then for sensory, so let's see. You just make sure that they have, feeling. Oh, you can't really see that right now. Okay, make sure they have feeling. So we've got let's see. C5, C6, C7. Oh, you can't see that, sorry. So C5, C6, C7, C8, and then T1. And then for reflex, you test the bicep, relax, the bicep tendon. I'm really bad at these, but you test, relax, the bicep tendon, so it's like right here. And then you test the, I can't pronounce it, the brachioradialis tendon, which is the one on top here, I believe. That's really hard to get. And then there's also the tricep tendon. So you come behind, relax, and try to, you again can't see me. Okay, tricep tendon is going to be right here. And then, so you would also test the radial pulse, and you would note the rate, strength, and rhythm, and then you would do a recapitalization test. So let's see, radial pulse, 2 fingers right here, check it, and then for the recapitalization test, she's not wearing any nail polish right now, so you can just pinch and see if the color comes back within 2 seconds, which it does. And so, like I said, you would compare this bilaterally. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to be doing the abdomen and thorax evaluation. So, you start with ABC, so that's airway, breathing, circulation, and then you would take a past and present history, and then, so lay down, please. Okay, so then you would check for any unusual sounds that could indicate pneumothorax, or any kind of shock, and then so that could be like crepitus or like sucking sounds, and then you would also check for unusual sensations that could indicate, again, sorry, my camera is wigging out on me. Okay, it's fine. Any like unusual sensations that could indicate nerve or breathing problems. And then for the inspection, you would check for any swelling, discoloration, deformity, and then you would check their, hang on, can you scooch down a little bit so that, yeah, I have my phone taped up right now, and I think it's covering part of my camera. Okay, there we go. sorry. Okay. There we go. Okay. So, yeah, you would check breathing patterns, so making sure that, you know, one side is not rising more than the other, so that could indicate pneumothorax. And then you're also, you know, checking for any, like I said, symptoms of shock. And then you're also going to check for deviated trachea, so just relax. So right here you want to make sure it is actually in the middle instead of off to the side. So right now hers is good, which is lovely. And then you would check for any hemolysis or hematuria. So that is either blood being coughed up or blood in the urine. And then you would check the breast for any contusions, and you would see if the nipples had any like heat rash or runners or anything like that. And then for the bony palpations, I'm actually gonna have you sit up for this because the angle doesn't show very well. But you would palpate first the SC joint, and then the clavicle, so the shaft here, and then the AC joint here. And so for that, you're checking for any fracture or strain or luxation. And then for the sternum, got the so you're checking the what is that? Yeah, the manubrium, the body, and then the xiphoid process. Sorry, I got you. Okay, and then for so that's checking for a fracture, and then for the ribs, so I would palpate. You can't see super well, but I would palpate both sides just along here, checking the ribs, the bodies of the ribs, and then the costochondrial joints. That's where it meets the cartilage, and then the costosternal joints as well. So that is where the ribs meet the sternum up here. And so again, checking for any fracture or luxation with that. And then you would check the thoracic vertebrae. So lay down on your stomach, please. So you're checking the thoracic vertebra here. And so you are checking all of the costovertebral joints. So that's just where the ribs meet the vertebra in the back here. Again, checking for any kind of luxation. Can you flip over again? Okay, and then you would palpate the pectoralis major. I'm just gonna palpate the lateral border right now. So that's gonna be like kind of along here. And again, just being very careful with that. And then also the intercostal muscles. Those are hard to palpate because they're like right between the ribs. But just like feeling where, you know, the space between the ribs, that's where those muscles are gonna be. And then we've got the rectus abdominis. So put your knees up. Okay, and then do like a half sit up. So all those muscles here that are, relax your arm, sorry. So all the muscles here that are activating, those are the rectus abdominis. And then we've got the internal and external obliques. So those are going to be along here. And then we have got the abdominal quadrants. So the upper right, upper left, lower left. So that is going to be the patient's upper and lower right and left. So we're starting here with the, I'm just going to do it with one hand so you can see better. So the upper right, lower right, upper left, and then lower left quadrants here. And then again, you would check for any rigidity or contusion because both of those could indicate internal organ damage. And then again, you would check the breast for any contusions, but I'm not going to do that right now. And then for the like special tests, so the first one is going to be the abdominal rebound test. So that's basically where you would press down here, and then you'd see if there's any pain. So does that hurt when I press it down? No. And then does it hurt when I let go? No. Okay, good. So both of those, it's a positive test if it hurts when you're pushing down as well as when you lift off. And then the rib compression test. So this is checking for a fracture. So you would just like squeeze the ribs together like that. And if there's any pain, especially like here, that could indicate a fracture. And then forced inhalation, so just breathe, keep going, in as much as you can, okay, and relax. So that is checking the external intercostals for any kind of strain, and then breathe out as much as you can. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Any kind of pain? Nope. All right. So that is checking for the internal intercostals, any kind of strain there. And then Kerr's sign, that's basically just the fact that when somebody's having a spleen problem, they can feel pain in their left shoulder, so that's important to take note of. And then McBurney's point, which is checking for appendicitis. It's like right above the appendix, basically. So you come over from the navel, and it's just going to be pressing down here, and then seeing if they have any kind of pain. No pain?
No.
Lovely. And then for the range of motion, I'm actually going to sit up for this one, or stand up for this one, actually. So I'm going to have, let's see, there we go. Okay, so for trunk flexion, you're going to bend forward. Yep, and then extension, all the way back up. And then extension, you're going to just lean back as much as you can. Okay, good. And then we're going to test rotation, so twist back and forth. Good. You can relax. And then we have the, the lateral flexion, so that's twisting side to side. Or, yeah, just like that. Good. So these would both be done actively and passively. And then for the muscular strength test, we've got, we'd laid down here again. Okay, so this is going to be testing the rectus abdominis and the external and internal obliques. So put your knees up, and then cross your arms over your chest, and then do like kind of a half sit up. All right, and then push against my arm, so twisting that way. Good. Okay, and then you do the other way as well. And then for trunk flexion, again, that would just be kind of like doing a sit up here. So, and then you can apply pressure so that they're pushing against your hands. And so that is working the rectus abdominis, the internal and external obliques, as well as the transverse abdominis. And then you've got trunk extension, so flip over, please. And then arms at your side, and then just lift up your upper body, so then you can apply some pressure there if needed. You can relax that. So that is going to be working the erector spinae. And then for lateral flexion, I'm going to have you just like on your side. So, and then you just be pushing up against here. So not on your arm though.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so pulling up. There we go. Okay. So that is going to work the ipsilateral flexors, ipsilateral extensors, and ipsilateral quadrans lumborum. And then for the respiratory muscles, we already pretty much checked those on the forced inhalation and expiration, or exhalation. So those are going to be the intercostals as well as the diaphragm. And then for the neurological tests, so the first one is the beaver sign. So lay on your back, knees up. And so I'm not going to lift up your shirt to see your navel, but basically you would have them sit up a little bit, and if it moves upward, that could be that is an indication of either nerve damage or weakness in that area. And then I'm gonna have you sit up for this next bit. So then we would have the sensory. So T1 is going to be like kind of up in the armpit, and then we've got T2 and 3. So yeah, and then T4 is going to be kind of at the nipple line. So we've got T2 and T3 between that, and then we've got T6 is going to be your next landmark. So that is at the xiphoid process. So it's like here. So we've got T5 and T6 between those two. Oh, sorry, you can't really see that. But between the nipple line and the xiphoid process is going to be T5 and T6. Or no, sorry. this is going to be T5, and then T6 is at the xiphoid process, and then T10 is at the navel here. So then we've got T7, 8, and 9 between the xiphoid process and the navel here. And then we've got T12 is going to be at the pubis above the inguinal ligament. I don't know how to pronounce that. I need to work on that. But basically it's going to be kind of like here. It's going to be T12. So T11 is between the navel and there. It's going to be right in the middle here. And then we would also, at this point, take their blood pressure. Okay, so this is for the foot evaluation. So I've just got her feet on this book here because it's a squishy couch. So we'd start by taking a present as well as past history, and then you'd look for any discoloration, deformity, or swelling, and then I'm gonna have you stand up. Sorry, there's a cat on her lap right now, and I feel bad for him. So I'm actually okay, so I'm gonna have you step on this book here. No, that's bad angles, bad lighting. Okay. So we're checking to see if her arches are weight bearing. So yeah, you're just checking there. All right, good. You can sit down again. Okay, and then we are looking for her toe position. I'm gonna tape it back up here. Sorry. Okay. You can put your feet back on here. So we are looking for toe position to see if there's, mallet toes, hammer toes, seeing if they're valgus severus. And then you're also looking for any toe conditions, which includes blisters, corns, callus. So, there's some callus right here that you can notice. And then, ingrown toenail, all that kind of stuff. And then you would palpate the metatarsal. I'm going to actually have you move this foot so you can see here a bit better. So I start with the first metatarsal head. So that's going to be right along here. So you're checking, for any bunions or anything, and then the sesamoid bones of the first MTP joint. So that's checking for any sesamoiditis, so inflammation, and so those are going to be, let me see. Yeah, those are right along here. You can feel them. They're just kind of like little bits raised almost. And then, let's see, we've got the fifth metatarsal. So for that one, I'm actually going to use this foot. So fifth metatarsal starting here and then working our way down to here, right to there. And then you're checking for any fracture for that. And then the cuboid bone, so you're checking for peroneus longus tendinitis, so that's going to be right around here. And then the calcaneus is the heel basically, so it's the calcaneus here. And then we've got the talus, it's going to be kind of right above, and then the navicular, then checking navicular displacement, so pes planus. So that's actually, sorry, wrong foot. Yeah. So checking right here. And then you would palpate the plantar fascia, so starting down here and coming all the way up the foot here. And then also between the metatarsal heads, I guess it's not a great angle, but yeah, between the metatarsal heads here, checking for any sort of Morton's neuroma. So no pain with that, I think. Lovely. And then we do some functional tests. So we would do the rigid versus supple pes plantis. So I I'm gonna have you stand up again. Sorry, the cat
okay.
is. I'm gonna try to see if I can get a better angle in here, because last time was not great. No, I can't. Okay. Sorry. Again, I'm gonna have you. Actually, for this, you're gonna start sitting down. Our couch is a little bit too low for this, but ideally you would have them sitting down so that their foot was kind of hanging there, and so then you could check the arch and see. So right now, or actually you are putting weight on that, aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're putting some weight on it, but ideally she would not be. And so you check the arch.
I should just...
Okay, yeah, check the arch here, and then you're gonna put some weight on your feet now, just like how stand up. And so we check and see she still has an arch there, so that is good. So for the so this is a negative test for the supple pes plantus, because if it was a positive test, this would all have collapsed here, kind of like my feet do. And then for the rigid, it's just, seeing, it's just, seeing that, if you go up and then down again, that there's like no movement there, that would be a positive for the rigid test. Okay. And then, we also have to do the navicular drop test. I'm gonna try to see if I can place this somewhere where you can see kind of what I'm doing. Hopefully, maybe. There we go. Okay. I'm gonna move this foot out of the way real quick. So, for this, you would basically palpate. So here is the navicular. Oh, there's a cat. I'm so sorry. I'll get the one, please. Okay. So you would palpate and then mark the navicular process here. Yes, it's going to be like right here. You'd mark that. And then you would, I'm going to have you put some weight on here, and I'm just going to make sure you're kind of even on it. So, yeah, actually, hang on, relax. Just relax. So first, I realize now that I don't really have anything to write on. I'll use some old paper. But basically you would mark how high it is off the ground. So that's like about there, right? And then I would have, so put some weight on that now. It's a little bit hard because I am doing this on a book because we have a squishy carpet. And so then I'm gonna make sure that is just even, so a little bit more to this side. A little bit more to that side.
Which side?
This side. Just let me kind of, okay. And then you would check it again and see how much it has moved. So it's moved a bit there, as you can see. There was the first and the second. And so if it is more than 10 millimeters, that could just indicate, oh shoot, what does it indicate? That it's basically like rolling in too much, and pronation, that's the word. Okay, let's see, I'm just taping this up again. Okay, the cat is back. Okay, and then, oh shoot, I should have done the feast line while we were down there. Anyway, bring the, no. So I'm gonna put the book back up here. So this is basically, I'm going to, I can, no, it's fine. So I did it on this foot. I have the older mark on this foot. No. We're gonna put this foot down actually. But I'm just gonna do it on here again because it's easier. So you would mark the medial malleolus the apex, and then the first metatarsal, the head right here, and then the there is the navicular process. Ooh. And then you would see, okay, are they all in a straight line here? So yeah, you're just checking. This is not gonna be perfect, but yeah, you're checking here. Whoop, that, yeah, to make sure it's like generally in a straight line. And it should be. It should be generally a straight line. Yeah. Sorry, that was a little wonky there. And then we're gonna test some range of motion here. So all of this would be done bilaterally, but right now, just for ease of seeing it, I'm only gonna do 1 foot. So these would all be done as both passive and active ranges of motion. So we're gonna do subtalar inversion. So if you can just sit up and straighten out your knee here. So that's gonna be moving, relax. So that's gonna be moving your foot in. So this is subtalar inversion, and then going the other way is gonna be eversion, subtalar eversion. And then we've got forefoot adduction. So that is, let's see, adduction. Ooh, oh no. Did it? Okay, sorry, my phone just gave me, it's dying. So subtalar adduction. So let's go. And then abduction is gonna go out. And then MPT joint flexion. So that's, well, first MPT joint flexion, that's gonna be just the big toe here. So can you pull this down? Just the toe. Yeah, so that's gonna be kind of going to 45, and then up to kind of 70 to 9 degrees is going to be the joint extension. And then we're gonna check the lesser toes as well. Yes, okay. And then for the toe extension, we're gonna do this as a resistive range of motion. So toe extension, so pushing down with your toes. So that is testing the extensor hallucis longus, and then also the extensor digitorum longus, and then toe flexion, pulling up. Actually, hang on, flip that. Sorry, toe extension is going to be pulling up, not with your whole foot, just with your toes. So that is extensor hallucis longus and extensor digitorum longus, and then toe flexion, pulling down. It's going to be flexor hallucis longus as well as flexor digitorum longus. And then we do the neurological test. So like most neurological tests, you do this bilaterally. So first we're going to test the motor. So toe extension, that's testing L5, toe extension. Okay, and then for sensory, we've got L4 here, L5, and then S1 is going to be on the lateral side here. And then we'd also check the Achilles tendon reflex. So usually you do that, again, this couch is too short, so usually you would do that sitting off of a bench or something. And so you'd be relaxed here, and then I would passively move your foot up, and then you could hit the Achilles tendon right here, and you're hoping for plantar flexion. And then for the blood flow test, the posterior tibial artery pulse, the dorsal, so posterior tibial artery pulse, and then the dorsal pedal artery pulse, which is hard to find on the top of the foot here. And then you would do a recapitalization test. So she's wearing nail polish right now, so I'm just gonna look at the bottom of her toe here. So when I pinch it, it should have all the color back within 2 seconds.